Okay, there we are. Okay, back and ready to rock and roll here. So we got that recorder up and running. And if you guys could just do me a favor here and let me know in the chat box if the audio is coming through loud and clear. So just give me a yay or nay. I just want to make sure that you guys are able to hear me loud and clear here, so I'm not just talking to myself over the next 45 minutes or an hour or so. So if I need to turn that up or turn it down or make any adjustments, just let me know. Okay, all right, good deal, good deal. Okay, perfect. All right, folks, so I'm going to pull up some fresh tabs here that we're going to be using as we go along here today. So give me just another quick moment. Just pulling up some quick tabs before I share my screen. We're going to be introducing you to some new concepts here today. Now, I have two things that I want to show you today, and I'm going to start off by showing you guys something just completely different when it comes to lead generation. So it's a very new and cutting edge concept. It's something that you're not going to have to worry too much about running into competition for because very few people have actually been exposed to this technology, and it allows you to capture leads at a much higher conversion rate than typical because it's a far more engaging concept. So let me go ahead and open up one of these tabs right now. And what I'm going to do is just open up a fresh Google tab here as well. And just go ahead and activate it. And I want you guys to just watch the screen here. Okay, so this is actually a live AI chatbot. So this is an artificial intelligence chatbot. Now this one's in the UK, so some of the terminology may be a little bit different, but I grabbed one in the UK intentionally. Okay, now this goes on and asks overall over 28 questions before it wraps up. And I show you this because most individuals are used to typical landing pages. They're used to typical lead capture forms and whatnot. And those tend to be static. Those tend to be non-interactive. And they also tend to be overused, and that we've seen them 1,000,001 times in almost every industry out there. The difference with a chat bot, here's yet another one, is that the artificial intelligence is designed to, first of all, have a personality, okay? And it has the look and feel of texting. So researchers in the marketing world have actually found that, especially if you're targeting the younger generation, say 35 and under, so especially if you're going after first-time home buyers, that conversion rates just skyrocket because this is how they're used to communicating anyways. I mean, we already know the millennial generation does far more texting than they do actual verbal talking on the phone these days, right? It's 90% of their communication is through texting. And that's kind of what this emulates here, is a texting conversation, right? And because of the fact that it's engaging and has the capability, it has the intelligence to actually do what we call branching, which means give more than one option and change what it's doing based on the responses given. it almost feels like you're talking to a live person. So we found that conversion rates definitely do go up when we utilize this particular method. Now let me show you, I'm just going to go ahead and refresh this one here. Here's one that I made just as a demo. And I want you guys to pay close attention here to the text. And again, instead of a traditional landing page, which may have maybe 50, 60 words on the entire page, and the questions are asked in a very dry, blunt manner, you can see here that this, again, this is designed to be conversational in nature. So, hi there, I'm John, but my friends call me LoanBot. I am a pretty smart artificial intelligence designed to get you answers to your mortgage questions instantly. That's right. I give feedback quickly. It can even direct you to where you can find more information if I'm unable to answer a particular question. So in other words, this is a two-way discussion in that people can actually ask questions of the AI as well, which is pretty darn cool. So how cool is that? You don't have to sit on the phone with some obnoxious salesperson. So we're using a little bit of self-deprecation there. And that we already know that most people find having to talk to a salesperson or a live party a little bit frustrating, a little bit intimidating. So we're just kind of taking a swipe at ourselves, you know, intentionally here. Self-deprecation. It's a form of persuasion. So let's get started. Can you tell me a rough figure of how much you're looking to spend on a new home? Absolutely. Okay, fantastic. Now here's the next question. How much down payment were you planning on putting down? Okay, now instead of having to type something in, since I know that 75 to 80% of my leads come in the form of mobile devices, it's much easier for them to just kind of tap on an answer here. So we're asking about their credit on a scale of 0 to 5. How would you rank your credit? Boom. So 4 stars. Okay. Monthly income, choose one below. So I'm starting to get a better idea of what loan types might work for you. So what's your timeline look like? How soon would you like to be in a new home? Okay, so I'm going to give you a chance to ask some questions of me here in just a moment. But first, let me make sure I send some information over to you based on the feedback you've given me so far. What email should I send this to? And what should I call you? What's your name? Just a reminder, I'm the LoanBot. So nice to meet you. And it just goes on and on. The bottom line here, guys, is I could practically collect a full-blown lead form here if I wanted to using these chatbots because they stick around longer because of the interactive and engaging nature of them. Okay. Now, as I go along, I can give them the opportunity to ask questions based off of even redirecting them to specific pages on my website, blog posts. I can even suck in content that will show right here within the chat screen, even videos from YouTube. So let's say I have a YouTube channel with videos that cover things such as down payments or, you know, credit reports or, you know, estimated closing costs, you know, what to bring to a mortgage closing, things along those lines. I can suck those videos right onto the screen here. Included in the conversation and then ask them questions after they've watched the video. So it's a pretty powerful two-way engaging means of communication with your prospects. So you don't have to worry about running into a lot of your competitors utilizing this format because it's a newer technology and very few people have gotten their arms around how to use it. Just give me just a second here. Let me make sure that audio, we don't have any background noise coming in. And okay, yeah, looks like we're good. Now, here's the really cool thing about chatbots. I can deploy this bot in the form of a landing page like I've done here. I can also deploy it onto a Facebook fan page. So if you have a Facebook business page, I can actually connect the chat bot to my messenger. So that means that when people click to ask questions or send a message over to your page, they're going to be connected with your chat bot. So it can actually ask them questions and collect answers, and naturally every single answer that they get, even if they don't complete the full conversation, the bot is still going to take that data and email it over to you. So I can make sure that one of the early questions that I ask early on is for name and email right up front. That way, if they only get halfway through the questions, I still get enough information to have at least a lead. Right? Now, naturally, I want them to finish it, and I want name, email, phone number, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But in a worst case scenario, if I'm getting that, collecting, just that basic information right out of the gate, even if they only finish the first 4 or 5 questions, I still have a chance to connect with them, right? So that's why I like to collect that up front whenever possible. So I can deploy as a landing page. I can deploy on Facebook Messenger, but I can also deploy it as a widget. Now, okay, I think I'm getting somebody's got an open line there. There we go. I can also deploy it as a widget on my website. Now, what that looks like is if you've ever gone to a website, in the lower right-hand corner, there's a little bubble that says, click here if you have questions, or click here, blah, blah, blah. And then it opens up. That's what that looks like. So it's a little bubble on the home page of your website, and when they open it up, boom, expands into a full-blown, chatbot, artificial intelligent page. Okay. So yeah, basically what we're doing here is we're utilizing a technology that your competition is not. It's engaging, it's interactive, and gives you a lot more options, and tends to have a much higher conversion rate for answering, or for getting your prospects to answer more questions and give you more information than a traditional old-fashioned landing page. All right. So guys, I have the tools necessary to set this up for you. So if you want to set up your own chatbot, you can, or I can set one up for you as well for lead capture purposes. Now, you can set up a chatbot for any niche you like. Now, let me give you some examples just to kind of get your creative juices running on how you could utilize this. Now, let's say that you want to work with more realtors and get more referrals. How many of you guys say yes to that? How many of you guys want more referrals with realtors? Let me know in the chat bot or chat box. How many of you guys like the idea of getting your realtors excited about working with you, and you being able to provide them something that very few other people can? Pretty cool, huh? All right, so let me throw this concept out there at you, and let's see what you think of this. How many of you guys have heard of single property sites when it comes to real estate agents? You know what a single property site is, right? It's like a little miniature lead capture page for a particular listing that they have, and people can go there and look at images, and if they want to arrange a showing or whatever, then they can click on a button and put in their information, right? That's a single property site. So now imagine being able to deploy single property AI pages. So instead of somebody just going to a regular single page website that has a couple pictures on it and then a lead capture form, imagine being greeted by a chatbot that knows everything there is to know about that property, and can even schedule an appointment. By the way, the chatbots can even schedule appointments too, just so you know, which is pretty darn cool. Let me see if I have one on here. Let me see if I have one that shows you. I don't know if I have a demo one. Yeah, I guess I don't have a demo one, but I'll show you guys in a moment. I'll show you what it looks like. But yeah, I can actually schedule an appointment as well right out of the gate. Okay, it's smart enough to do that, and can even work with your calendar. It'll interact with it, which is pretty darn cool. So in other words, I can approach an agent and say, hey, you know what? We have this incredible new lead generation tool where I can create an interactive artificial intelligent landing page. It's a landing page that we can create for each one of your listings that will answer whatever questions individuals interested in the property have. And it's going to capture them as leads as well. All of their answers, all of their responses are immediately captured and emailed over to you. Okay, I see you have 3 active listings right now. How would you like me to deploy those right now? And then we run ads. We run Facebook ads. You can use them on things that are outside of Facebook as well. But bottom line is primarily we're going to run ads with them. So now we can run ads that actually advertise the ability to get more information about these properties without having to talk to an annoying salesperson. You don't even have to talk to a real estate agent, but you can get questions or get answers to your most pressing questions. Now, if you're wondering if that works, think about, we might have to go back quite a ways, many, many years, but think about how popular call capture was when it first came out. Heck, I practically built my business, my office, and kept my loan officers super, super busy for years and years and years off of call capture. And for those of you unfamiliar with that terminology, call capture was simply a 1-800 number, an information hotline that would play recordings, and people could get more information about homes based off of just dialing in an extension that applied to that house. So if I was looking at a real estate publication, I said, oh, this is a cool house. Okay, it says here I can dial 1-800 blah, 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 and dial extension 334 and get recorded information about the property. Well, whenever we ran ads that had the call capture hotlines, we would get between double and triple the amount of leads. Exact same ads, but we would double or triple our lead capture rate. Why? Because people responded well to the idea that, hey, I can get information and I don't even have to talk to somebody. They were intimidated when they'd have to call in and actually speak to a live person. So some of them just wouldn't call in. So the same applies online. If they can get more information about these homes and engage with an interesting artificial intelligence, they will. So very easy to set up and very easy to pitch to realtors because they're not seeing other loan officers bringing this sort of tool to the table. Heck, 99.9% of them don't have this tool. AI is a very new concept in the realm of real estate. All right, so this is an incredible way to get realtors to think, wow, that's pretty freaking cool. And the fact that you're going to be able to deliver leads, but you're the gatekeeper, you're the one that captured those leads, so guess who gets to follow up on them first? You. How cool is that? So you can actually leverage their properties for your lead capture purpose. Now there's pros and cons there. I'm always going to give you guys the good with the bad, okay? The good is that you're going to get a hell of a lot of leads. The bad is that some of them are going to be super early in the process. You're not going to get a bunch of people that are looking to buy something immediately. You will get some. Don't get me wrong. You will get some instant conversions. People that are saying, hey, yeah, I'm looking, you know what, I'm moving into town for work, blah, blah, blah. You know, my deadline is next month, so I need something now. You will get leads like that too. But the bulk of them will be people that are still 60 to 90 days out. And for some of you, that's a drawback. However, it's only a drawback for a short period of time because as you go along and keep with your consistency, that 60 to 90 days gets here and suddenly, boom, you got all these new leads pop, or all those leads that used to be far off that are now popping and finding their homes. And once you get your pipeline full, you just keep that consistently at that level. So it's a really kick butt way to keep your pipeline very full. All right. So does it make sense so far? Do you guys see the value of taking this approach? The cost? Well, this software is provided with your Mastermind, so it's not something you have to buy. So yeah, you don't have to worry about the cost. Yeah, I'm not charging you for that. Yeah, I wouldn't do that to you guys. I wouldn't get you into my Mastermind and then make you buy more stuff from me in order to implement what I'm teaching. I'm just not going to do that. Okay. So yeah, you guys can use this software. All right. Let me throw some other scenarios at you. Now, Let's say you don't necessarily want to go that route. Now imagine running an ad on Facebook where I can find out how much home I can afford and qualify for, and I don't even have to talk to a loan officer. Why? Because they're going to talk to the AI. So get answers right now, and you don't even have to talk to a loan officer. So they're going to spend a lot more time chatting with that AI, giving all of this information, 10, 12, 15, 20 fields of data, whatever you want to collect. That's about as complete of a lead as it gets, folks, because it was conversational in nature. And all of this is customizable with your AI. You can basically have it talk you up at the end of the conversation, pushing them over to maybe, do you have online positive reviews and testimonials that you can send them over to? Do you have a Google local page with positive reviews, 5-star reviews? Yelp and some of the other tools out there, some of the other hyperlocal tools, maybe send them over to a wonderful article on your blog or on your website. Send them over to a page that's just filled with information about you and what you've done and how you've saved people's loans in the past. It's completely programmable, folks, to do and say whatever you want. Chat you up. Tell them the importance of at least having a text discussion with you. Here's something very important that I do in all of my lead capture mechanisms is I always, when I ask for their phone number, I give them an explanation why. Because when you just ask for phone number without explaining why you're asking for it, the bulk of people are going to give you trash numbers, right? They just give you junk numbers. Or they just don't fill it out at all unless you made it required. If you make it required, then they just go back and say, screw you, and they put out this stupid fake number, and that's obnoxious. Well, part of the reason that's happening is because we haven't given them a reason to give us a legit phone number. But what I like to do, especially with an AI, since it's more interactive and engaging than a traditional lead capture page, is I give an explanation. When I ask for that phone number, I explain, hey, you know what? While it's not required, it is very important if you want the most accurate estimate possible of what you really qualify for, to give a legitimate phone number here, because we may have questions before we have an answer for you and we need to reach you. So give us a number where we can reach you by text. And that's what I ask for. I specifically ask for, and I say text because people are typically more comfortable communicating via text because they're not put on the spot, but you have triple the response rate of through texting than you do via email. I often get about a 90 to 91% successful response rate when I text people from the leads that I captured. It's even higher than when I call them, because a lot of people screen their calls. If they don't recognize that number, they don't pick up. So my best bet at that point is, well, I'm just going to have to leave a voicemail. But that's not the case when it's texting, because people text. They check their text basically every 15, 20 minutes these days. That's the average. Every 15, 20 minutes they're checking. And they said most people check and get your text and read it within 9 minutes of you sending a text. Whereas email could be 9 to 10 hours, or even in some cases several days, if they get it at all. So I have a better response rate with prospects through texting than I even do through the phone. And I think it's because they're more comfortable in that environment. Right? So that's what I ask for. And by giving that explanation, I see about a 20% lift in the number of people giving me phone numbers versus when I give no explanation. 20% more. So why wouldn't you? Make sense? Okay, so let's think about other ways we can utilize this. So we talked about a answer page for real estate if we want to take a backdoor approach. We talked about finding out how much home you can afford and qualify for. What about VA? How many of you guys do VA loans? Well, how about a VA home loan answer page? Hey, don't have to wait for a response, guys. You can ask our artificial intelligence here that's an expert in all things VA. You can ask questions and get instant feedback and responses from our AI and actually find out what you might qualify for. So what other niches could you use this tool on? How about self-employed? How many of you guys do community hero type programs? How about down payment estimations or the down payment answer bot? You know, how many people are misinformed about what they really need for down payment? You get the guys that think they can get zero down even when they have horrible credit and just don't qualify for it. And then you get the guys that have great credit that still believe for whatever reason that they need 10% or 20% down. Either one is wrong, right? So why not a page designed to clear up all the misconceptions? Hey guys, find out the unfiltered truth about what you really need for down payment. Get the answers to such misconceptions as zero down home loans. Find out exactly what they are and who can get them. Low down payment home loans, down payment assistance, first-time homebuyer programs, government loans such as USDA and VA. So there's lots and lots of applications for an interactive page like this. Okay. All right, Chad, is there a limit to the number of bots? No, you can have as many bots as you want, really. And like I said, each one comes in 3 flavors. So you can make one bot, and that one bot will be applicable to Facebook, a landing page, and your website, all from just a single bot. Make sense? But yeah, you can have a bot for every niche if you so choose. So what else? What questions can I answer for you guys? I'm just going to pause here for a moment and let you guys get your questions out there. You know, there. Okay, so that's a good question. So David's asking, are they all pre-programmed? So let me show you guys the page. Here, give me just a second. It's going to take me just a moment. I gotta get logged in. So I'm just gonna pause this for just a moment while I get logged into the software and the dashboard. Okay. So guys, it's going to be a silence here for just about 30 seconds as I get this pulled up. I just got to get some extra tabs open and all that fun stuff. So I'll be right back with you. Okay, alrighty. So almost ready here. There we are. Okay, so this is a bot programming page. Okay, and again, you guys don't have to buy this. I'm already a developer for the software, so I can deploy unlimited pages. I can give you access. This looks like it's probably going to be very difficult at first glance, but over here you have your video tutorials and your getting started guides. Just so you know, the video tutorial is only 8 minutes because it's not complicated. It's not that difficult. Basically what this is this just shows step by step by step by step. So I look at this first one here, I click on it and check it out. So basically I just put in whatever I want the bot to say. I can add as many comments. I can even click the plus sign here. I can add images and insert all sorts of other things into the page. And then I just tell the bot, okay, how do I want, what sort of options do I want to give the person? Do I want to give them buttons to click on? Do I want to give them, remember how I asked about credit, gave them a 5-star ranking to choose from? Here's the star ranking. I can schedule appointments with a date scroller or a time scroller so they can set a time and date to meet with me. It can even pull up and sense where they're located in the U.S., what city they're located in, and pull up information from the internet based on where they're located, which is pretty freaking cool and pretty sophisticated. Images, it can suck in images and files and display them on the page, even PDF and documents and all that fun stuff. So if I wanted to give them downloadable documents right there in the conversation, I can. So, and that's all I have to do. Here at the end of the conversation, I can even automatically send them over to a specific page or website. I mean, it's pretty freaking cool, guys. And it's not difficult. So you can come in and literally create a bot about anything. You can even just use mine as a template here to create, you know, or I mean, if you want to request a bot made for you, you can, but you would have to tell us exactly what you wanted to say and questions, and, you know, what to collect and all that fun stuff to have it delivered to you. Or you can just come in and use this and create as many as you want right here from the dashboard, okay? Because it's not difficult at all. And once you have it, it's yours forever, okay? That's the cool part, is you can have a whole army of bots that you can utilize for any niche possible and log in on an as-needed basis and create more, okay? So let's take a look here. Let me make sure I got the questions addressed. Give me just a moment here, folks. I'm just going to pop in here to the questions, make sure that I didn't miss anything. Okay, so Chad, how does it know the answers to the questions? Let me show you. I'll show you. It's actually quite simple. For example, let me draw your attention to this one right here. See here, grid 4. See how it has these multiple pipelines? Each one of these is showing I gave them buttons that they could click on where I asked a question. So for example here, I basically asked, how about this? What's your average monthly gross income? And I gave them different answers that they can choose from. And when they click on one of these buttons, each one of these buttons, I can actually tell the system to go in and do something different for each one. Now, I didn't on these because it doesn't matter to me what their average income is. My response to it's always going to be the same. But let's say, for example, it was how good's your credit? Okay, like I did on the 5 stars. Well, let's say they only gave 2 stars and under. I could just drag these little pipelines and direct them to a different response, so that if it's bad credit, don't send them over to the page that says, oh, great, I see you have great credit, so that means you might qualify for blah, blah, blah. Instead, I would just drag this little pipe and drag it over here to one of the other responses that says, oh, hey, I see that you are having some challenges with your credit, so we would need to focus on less credit-driven mortgage programs. Here's your options. So it's just simply a matter of just dragging the pipe to each specific answer to the appropriate response. That tells the bot how to reply to certain answers that are provided. Okay? So So yeah, that's basically simplifies things from there. And just purely text-driven responses, those are typically going to be things that are just for lead capture purpose, just be captured and sent directly over to you, such as, how much would you like to put down? How soon are you looking to buy a home? Unless you want to make it an option, okay? But basically, you have complete control over that. So, does that make sense? All right, good deal. Okay, so any other questions, folks? I'm gonna pause here, so give you guys an opportunity to pop your questions in. And I'm just gonna scroll through and make sure I got everything there. All right. Okay, good deal. Well, I'm not sure I understand the question. If it's a, how does it anticipate the question? I'm not sure what you mean by anticipating it. If you could just elaborate on that for me a little bit there, that would be appreciated. Or I can, if you have a microphone or if you called in through the phone, I could just unmute your handset too. If that's the case, just let me know. Because keep in mind, guys, too, basically, let's say that you're doing a niche bot, then you would basically attach that link to that particular ad. Okay, hold on. I see a response here. Okay, so the applications that it can be used in, I mean, it's pretty much limitless, Joel, and basically you can use it in literally any niche possible. The ones that, because again, this is still a very new technology. Right now, you're not going to have any competition at all because as far as I'm aware, and I keep a pretty close tabs on what's going on in the industry, I'm not aware of any other loan officers utilizing this approach. So I don't think you have to worry about competition, but basically you can use this in any niche that you like. Right now, the niches that I have personally used it in during testing is real estate properties. So basically I would set up a specific bot for a specific property for a realtor that I'm working with, okay, so that I can capture leads and I'll share those leads with the realtors, but I'm also capturing them for myself, right, because I want to work on. So that was the first niche that I used it in ever. Next came finding out how much home you can qualify for and afford. So basically, I set it up to basically ask questions, mostly income-related type questions, and then I just basically programmed it to give a specific response based off of certain income and credit levels, right? So it was pretty straightforward setup for that particular niche. Another niche that I've used is for VA loans is another one that we've gone after with this. But you could also use it for FHA, first-time home buyers, low down payment, no down payment, USDA, find out how much down payment you're going to need, things like that. I mean, there's lots and lots of ways to utilize it. And keep in mind, too, is you can also just limit it to purely lead capture duty as well. You don't need a bot specifically to give them answers right away. You could just use it as the lead and the information collecting medium. In other words, at the end of the questioning, the bot lets them know, okay, great, thank you so much for answering these questions. I am now passing this information on to the most qualified loan officer for based off of the answers you've given, and we will be in touch and blah blah blah, to give you your answers. So you can go that route as well. There's no limitation that says you can only do something that's pre-programmed and going to give them instant feedback, right? You can go both ways, if that makes sense, okay? So, and there's a lot of loan officers, you know, when I'm doing my beta testing, there was a lot of loan officers that just went that route for simplicity's purposes, you know, to where at the end, again, it just says, okay, great, you know, now we're going to take and we're going to crunch all your numbers because we want to get you the most accurate data possible. So here's what you can expect. And then we just let them know they're going to hear back within X amount of hours or minutes or, you know, whatever the promise is that you want to make to them. Here's how soon you're going to hear back. Okay. All right, great. Okay, so let's head on over to Facebook. In fact, let's head on over there now. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go to my ads manager. Go in there right now. And I'm going to click to create an ad. You guys will be seeing that on your screen here in just a moment. There we go. Okay, oh, interesting. So here is one that I was creating for bots earlier. So setting up an AI for the home buying process. So when setting up an ad, I would probably do either a traffic or an engagement style ad. Okay, one of the two. And let me just kind of go through. We're going to skip past this process just because I've already talked about this a million times before. So if anybody needs a refresher on this, let me know and I'd be happy to go over it with you. Because this is the simple part. I'd be more than happy though if somebody wants a refresher on it. I'd be happy to do a quick 5 or 10 minute refresher with you one-on-one to make sure you're up to speed on that. Just let me know. I want to get to the ad part, and that is right here. Okay. So this is where your bot URL would go. When you generate your chat bot, it's going to give you a link, and you take that link and you paste it right here where it says website URL. Now what we want to do, the angle that we want to take here is one of simplicity, one of fear of having to talk to live people, and frustration and annoyance, because that's how people typically feel about salespeople, right? So I was actually just shooting out some quick alternative headlines. Here's one. Here's a really good one that gets good clicks. Hate talking to banks when trying to get approved for your home loan. Or here's how to buy a home without talking to annoying loan officers. And I actually had somebody tell me earlier when I was reading off some of these, they said, wow, you know, I don't think it's a good idea to be insulting to yourself like that in an ad. You know, you're just going to give them a bad opinion of yourself. And I said, well, here's the thing is, if you've read any of the classics, like especially How to Win Friends and Influence People, you know, any of the studies on the psychology of persuasion and trust, one of the earliest things that they teach you is that people are more attracted to individuals that can laugh at themselves and don't take themselves too seriously, whereas they tend to be more repelled by the people who do take themselves too seriously. People also tend to trust individuals who are willing to make a joke at their own expense. It's subconscious influence and persuasion. People also love to be validated. people aren't going to stop thinking that this is an annoying process just because, or they're not going to start thinking it just because we said it, you know, or if we don't say it, they're not going to stop thinking it. We already know that's what most people think. We've even seen the studies and the tests that said that going through a moving process and buying a home and getting approved for the loan is ranked in the top 5 most stressful events in a person's life, in their entire life. Top 5. That's how stressful it is for the average consumer. So we already know that they find it annoying or frustrating or whatever word you want to put in place of annoying. So all we're doing is we're validating inside their heads. We're validating what they're already thinking, which makes them think, man, this person really understands me. And this person's not afraid to say what probably most loan officers are. So that's why I actually do use headlines like this. I don't care if it's self-deprecating. I'm not afraid to use it because I know it works. And if you guys, I don't know how many of you guys have watched my older videos or read my older posts or blogs or articles when I wrote for Scotsman Guide and Mortgage Originator magazine back in the day when they were around, Broker magazine. And back then I was telling the story of when I first opened my own office and was moving from a refi shop to being purchase only. And I was having trouble cracking the realtor market. And the one thing that finally turned things around for me when it came to targeting realtors was picking up the phone and calling realtors and asking them a very specific question. Guess what that question was? That question was, what do you hate about loan officers most? And people thought I was nuts when I said this is what I was going to do. But I was tired of guessing how to get their attention, and I wanted to know. I wanted to know. I asked that question of over 100 realtors before I started taking the results and tabulating them and turning them into a marketing strategy, because I said, you know what? It's just pure guesswork otherwise, but if I just listen to what comes out of their own mouth and engage them in conversation, I'm going to be able to take this information and turn it into one hell of a marketing strategy. But again, it was self-deprecation, because heck, I'm a loan officer. Here I am asking you to tell me all the things you hate about us. And it got a laugh out of a lot of them, and they were only too happy to tell me. But now they're thinking, well, this guy must be different because no other loan officer is asking this question. Nobody else is bold enough or brave enough to ask this question or cares enough to ask this question. So I actually got a lot of business off of asking that ridiculous sounding question. So don't be afraid to use headlines like this, because all you're doing is completing the conversation that I guarantee you is already going on in their head. Okay, so basically I would take that headline, boom, pop it in here, and then I start building my ad, focusing again on this, the pain that's typically associated with the mortgage process, and how instead, by utilizing a sophisticated, intelligent AI, they can get answers ASAP, right? Now, if I'm building out an ad like this, what imagery do I want to use? Well, let's head up here and let's use the free provided images. Again, guys, I typically avoid doing carousel and I do single image ads, and I use the free stock images button, which I just click right here. So I'm going to make, I want emotional imagery, right? People with strong emotional looks on their face, it's like, yes, so happy I don't have to talk to an annoying loan officer. boom, boom. You know, I can use some of these. So I go through and I look for the ones that have a good combination of colors that stand out and good emotional looks on their faces. Because the human eye is attracted to that. We're attracted to emotion. When we see strong emotion, it's like a train wreck. We got to look. And you want them looking. And it's the same with these. See how you got these really zingy, colorful backgrounds instead of just the plain white? These also really stand out. So you can choose 6 images. I choose all 6. I want to fill all 6 images because Facebook's going to rotate showing different images and find out which one's getting the highest conversion, and that's the one it's going to stick with. Okay? All right. Okay, guys, so let me give you your homework. So here's the thing. How many of you guys want logins to the bot software, and how many of you guys want one set up for you? Let me know in the chat area. Let me know. Because I'm going to help you set up your ads. All right. Okay, cool. All right, perfect. John, no, we're not charging you for this. This is included in your mastermind. Okay, perfect. So here's what I want you guys to do is hop on Glip and basically just tell me what you're looking for with your bot. What questions do you want? What if you want to give it a name? Here's the thing, guys, is the big advantage of the AI bots is that they have personality. That might not sound like a whole lot, but it really does make a difference. It really, really does. The bot's interactive. It has a lot of personality going with it because you can make it say whatever you want versus a regular landing page follows a linear progression typically. There's very limited space for text, so you don't really say much on a typical landing page, whereas the bots, you can insert a little humor. So I like to give them funny names, you know. I mean, you can even name it, Mortgage Einstein, or, just give it some flavor. Tell us what you want to call it. If you have specific colors you want involved, because we can change colors, background colors, and all that fun stuff. If you have a picture, it can suck in pictures and pop them out as avatars so that, when you see the little typing bubble, that you're responding, it'll have a little avatar image if you want those included. Just send it all over to me on Glip, and I'll make sure my guys get them set up for you. We'll deliver it to you, and then we'll work with you to get your ad set up with your AI bot. Okay? But first, I just need all those details so we can get it set up for you, and then we're going to arrange time to work with you guys to get your ads. We're going to help you get your ads set up with your bots. Okay? Because we want to see you kicking some serious butt with these. All right? So pick out a niche. What information do you want to collect? And, any other details associated with your bot. And then we'll get it set up for you. And again, just want to make things clear. You're not going to be charged. You're not going to get some bill for getting this set up for you. No, this is all part of your mastermind. Like I said, we provide the technology, so don't worry about that. You're not going to have to dig into your pocket for it. And as soon as it's done, then boom, let's reconnect and get your ads rocking and rolling. All right? And you guys are going to be one of less than a dozen people nationwide doing this, by the way. Okay? Nobody else is taking this approach right now. So my guess is you probably got a full year before the competition starts hopping in and copycatting. That's generally when we when we introduce something new to the marketplace. It usually takes anywhere from 1 to 2 years for the competition and the other trainers to start teaching it too. Funny thing is, they always all want to claim they started it. I say, you know what, guys, go back and watch my videos. You'll see we launched that first. So yeah, you don't have to worry about competition right now. So my recommendation is to run with it and make hay while the competition isn't out there doing this too. Just take advantage of it, capture a lot of leads. You're at a good point in the season right now. We're right in the middle of busy season. Also, when it comes to real estate, keep in mind that when it comes to just bulk of leads, it's hard to beat capturing leads for real estate purposes. There's generally anywhere from 15 to 20 times more people actively searching and house hunting than they are out Googling for mortgage loans, because people shop backwards. They find the house first, then they go, oh, holy crap, I really need to go out and get a pre-approval letter, or get a letter from a lender showing that I actually qualify for a home loan, right? So I would also strongly recommend going that route too, and at least running some property ads, because you can capture a whole lot of leads going after people that are still house hunting, and you're getting them early enough into the process where 99% of them have not picked out their loan officer yet either. And about 75% of them haven't picked out a realtor yet either. So that means you end up with leads to share with realtors and make them think, holy cow, this loan officer is cool as heck. He's doing something that nobody else is doing in the market. Most realtors aren't used to loan officers providing leads. So you're going to be very unique, and they're not going to want that to stop. So give serious consideration to doing that as well, because it does work. All right? So hit me up on Glip, guys, and I will make sure. Okay, David, how do you advertise the properties? Okay, we only advertise properties with the realtors, meaning we team up with the realtors first. Okay, so in other words, what I usually would do is I contacted first the agents that I already had some sort of a working relationship with, even if I wasn't already working with them in that capacity. I would just bring it up. And just so you know, David, you could easily get a dozen or more realtors to say yes inside of 2 or 3 days when you approach them from this angle. Basically, what I let them know is, hey, here's what my office is doing right now. Is we're teaming up with local real estate professionals that are well known in their marketplace, have a lot of listings, and we know that you might want some extra eyeballs and traffic coming to those listings. So here's what we're doing: is we have a unique way of getting eyeballs to those listings using Facebook ads. I would love to work with you on these particular properties to drive some traffic to the listings. Is that okay? I mean, that's really all you got to say. Is there's no catch. There's no other shoe that's going to drop. The reason I'm willing to do this is because, number one, I would like, basically for you to see what I'm capable of doing and see all these wonderful leads I'm going to be bringing to you. But you're not committed to working with me and sending me your referrals just yet. Basically, I just want you to see how well we perform first. But number two is all those people that are house hunting are probably going to end up needing loans as well. So it works out perfect for me in that I want to be the guy that offers loans to these guys. It's a simple yes or no. 75 to 80% of them are going to say yes, just so you know. At least those are my numbers and the numbers of my loan officers. So it's really easy to get them to say yes because there's no catch-22 for them. There's no other shoe that's going to drop. It's just, do you want extra traffic or not? All right. So, and I'd be more than happy for any of you that don't have realtors to work with. If you want to formulate a plan to get realtors to work with, shoot me a message on Glip, and I'd be happy to arrange a quick 10-minute with you, one-on-one, to help you hammer out that plan, because it's actually very simple to get them to say yes, because it's a win-win proposition for them. Okay. So send me over your requirements. We'll get those pages set up, and let's run some ads. All right. So as soon as they're set up, we're ready to run those ads. I'll chat with you guys soon. Make it a great day. I look forward to chatting with you on Glip. Bye now.